Hi everyone, Chris here, and today I wanted to talk about a model that is very helpful when thinking about all of the different elements that go into instructional design and how, as instructional designers, we can be helpful to the people that we're serving. And that is the TPACK model, T-P-A-C-K. And this model was built upon the TPK model, which was brought to the forefront in right around 1996. And the basic premise of the pedagogical and content knowledge model was that Shulman, who authored the paper on this, discussed how pedagogy and content knowledge were pretty much taught separately. You were taught, if you were lucky, how to teach and how people learned, and then you were taught separately the content that you were going to be teaching. Excited about that beep. And his premise was that there is overlap, and knowing how to teach specific content is helpful, and they should be taught together. So building on that, a few years later, the first article I found on it was from 2006 by, I'm going to mispronounce these, Mishra and Kohler, and they added the T, which is technology. So essentially, the idea is to have this as a Venn diagram. So you have pedagogical knowledge, you have content area knowledge, and then you have technology knowledge. And it's very important because it's in the overlaps where all of the magic happens. For pedagogy, you know how people learn, and that's crazy important. For the content knowledge, you know what you're talking about. And the technology, you understand how to use technology. So in these overlaps, you have the pedagogical, knowing how people learn. And then in this little section here, this is where the pedagogy and the content overlap. And this is knowing how to teach the specific content so that people will best resonate with it. For content and technology, this area of overlap is knowing the technology that's used in the content. And then for pedagogical and technology, this piece is understanding educational technology. And then this magic part in the center is where you really know your stuff. Now, this is crazy important for instructional design because there's a lot of content and a lot of things that are going on in here. Understanding technology, and this includes, right in their paper from 2006, using a blackboard and chalk and books. I mean, they were just knowing how to use what you have for tools. And then knowing how to use those to teach, and then knowing how people learn. This right here is an area where instructional designers really need to make sure that they have mastery. We often get a subject matter expert, and this is the person we're just expecting them to know their content. They should probably know how the specific technology related to their content works, and the instructional designer is supposed to know how the technology is used to help people learn. But this becomes part of the content, and we're not expecting the content area person to know how to teach their specific content. That's the instructional designer's job. And I think one of the wonderful things about looking at this model is looking at what the instructional designer brings to the table. Because you may be in a situation where you have someone who's a fantastic content person, but they have nothing in pedagogy and they have nothing in, well, maybe they know all the technology, but they don't have how technology is used to teach. You may have someone who is an actual teacher and they're really great with their content. They're really great with the pedagogy, but the technology piece is completely lacking. So looking at this model, you can have a way of identifying what you can bring to the table as an instructional designer to all kinds of different circumstances based upon who you're working with and what they have for skills to sort of round out the skill set that really results in a good educational experience for end the end consumer, our learners who are trying to learn the content that our subject matter expert is bringing to the table. So that's all I have for today. And yeah, this is definitely a model worth taking a very good look at. And luckily, the place to find all kinds of information about this is really easy to remember. It's at tpack.org, TPACK.org. Alrighty, I will chat with you tomorrow.